What is up, my beautiful people? My name is James Evenson. If this is your first time watching my channel, I am a professional mariner, author, educator, and all-around sailor. And today I'm going to talk about what I normally talk about when people pay me to talk. I do consultations for people, and when one common thread that I always have to explain to people, especially newer people to sailing, is this subject of this video. Basically, that you need to choose the boat for the lifestyle you want. And I'm going to go into that because a lot of people, and I see one of you guys in the comments already, which proves my point perfectly. Thank you, man. A lot of people want two boats and they don't even realize it. And I'm going to break that down, what it means, how to get around that, and it'll demystify a little bit of the searching for a sailboat process from you. First, I want to go in and say hello to everybody and make sure that you guys can hear me. Hi, Firefly Man. Ted's here. What's up, dude? Hey, Steve's here. What's up, man? Hey, Merry Christmas to everybody. This will be the last time I get to talk to you guys before Christmas. I'm honored that you're hanging out with me on a Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, depending on where you're at, or very late if you're in Europe. And yeah, man, I've got some really cool news. I'm just going to share it with you right now. Check this out. This is crazy. As you guys know, I published a book recently, and I independently published it. So I published it myself, which means that I had it printed. I paid the editor. I paid the illustrator. I was the one that put it all together. And instead of using a publishing company like Tor or Random House or whatever, I just did it myself and then used YouTube to fill the orders. It was a crazy smash hit, and I've been trying to get a distributor to get into an actual bookstore, because that's the thing. When you self-publish, it's really hard to get into a bookstore. So check this out. This is Be the Captain, which is kind of cool. It's got so many things. There's a Reddit page on it. But this one is the one I want to show you. Paradise K Publications. Paradise K Publications handles West Marine and Defender.com and Fisheries Supply and who else? Blue Water Books. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for me. So if you're thinking about buying my book, don't buy it from me. Buy it from them. Show them that this book is worth buying. Leave a review. If you guys really want to help me out, buy that book and leave a review from them. And they'll keep ordering for me, and they'll put it in West Marine. Dude, one day when I go back to the States, I just want to go into a store and see my book on a bookshelf. It'd be so cool. It'd be so cool, man. Anyway, thank you guys all for helping me make that happen and being part of this thing. It's been really cool. So back to you guys and then back to the book, okay? Oh, thank you, man. Look at that. Okay. Steve, Paradise Vlogs, just sent $50 for Christmas present. I'm going to give that straight to Anna for Luna, man. I appreciate that, really. Okay, Johnny Lightning is here. Rob is here, always. Oh, my volume is low. Okay, I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. How's that? That might be clipping now. We'll see. You guys, let me know if that's a little better. Ho ho ho, everybody. I want Volbrecht. Congrats. Well done, even though I already have a copy. Great book. Thanks, man. Joe Bergen says, Merry Christmas, James. Loved and truly enjoyed your book. Well worth it for new sailors. Thanks, buddy. Let's go back. I'm going to go back to, here we go. Centrosi Zero. He says, at Be the Captain. Also recently picked up your book, James. Thanks for the heartfelt wishes for the holidays. Glad you and your family are doing well. As for your questions, 1, I plan on sailing with my brother, mostly coastal cruising as liveaboards on a budget to start out. Number 2, we'll be moving constantly, and I'm working on an IT degree and have a mobile job. And 3, I want to do future passages. So this is the thing. This is why people really want two boats, and this is the point I want to make for this entire video. So a lot of people, when they come to me, they're like, James, what I really want to do is, I don't really know how to sail, so I want to go to the Caribbean for a year, or I want to have the boat in the Chesapeake and I want to mess around there. And then in like 2 years, when I'm comfortable offshore, then I'd like to cross from the Chesapeake or the Caribbean to Europe, and I'd like to stay in Europe for 2 years. And what that is really what I tell everybody is that's 2 boats, my friend, especially if it's going to be more than 2 years. Usually it's going to be like 2 or 3 years, that whatever plans you're thinking in your head, they're going to be drawn out. And it just goes that way with a boat. So, for instance, I had a meeting with a guy the other day, and he said, James, I really love that channel, Alluring Arctic. I've been to Patagonia myself on a couple of trips. I love mountaineering. I love skiing. And what I want to do is I want to ski down a mountain in the South Pole in Antarctica. And I think that's an awesome, I mean, I am not one to say no to that. That is amazing. Well done for dreaming big. But then he told me, what I want to do is I want to buy like a 70-foot boat. I want to take passengers. I want to sell those trips. I'm going to get a captain. And that's where this whole plan started breaking down because, well, one, you don't have the experience to do it. The guy that does that now is this guy, Skip Novak. And if you haven't bought this book, this is a shameless plug for this book. It is amazing. I mean, I have it like dog-eared. It's freaking great. Mostly because I really want to do a book review on this as like a video for the channel. And I want to read a couple of passages that are just phenomenal. The guy's a good writer. This is one of those people that I don't want to meet because he's like a hero of mine, and they say never meet your heroes, right? Because he's just so cool. He's such a good writer and such a good sailor and such a prolific, A-type personality, I'm sure. Anyway, great book. Skip Novak on Sailing. Go buy that. You'll learn a lot from that. This is a collection of his magazine articles from the last 20 years. 20 years? I'm not sure about 20, maybe more. Anyway, he runs a boat called, hold on a second. I'm going to go to it in just a second. Boom. This is his boat. It's called Pelagic Australis. It is a 80-foot, basically a swing keel. It's made by the guys in, what is it called? RK or HK? Hold on a second. I know it'll be in here somewhere. A really, really famous boatyard. Very, very good boats. And basically he takes people on these ridiculous trips across the Drake Passage every day and over to the Falkland Islands. And yeah, bad mofo. So if you would like to be like him, you might want to start in 1977 in 4 whitbread races and then win an arc and then, this is your 15th boat and you've almost died out to sea 20 times. Like that's what it takes to be able to do that kind of really high level stuff. But what you can do for yourself instead of that is how about you get something like this? This is a 2004 Dudley Dix, and look at this boat. It looks a lot like Pelagic Australis. It looks a lot like that boat because it's built for purpose. This is a boat that's built to go to the high latitudes. And if you're dreaming about that, like if this is one of your dreams, like James, I want to go to the South Pole. I have never sailed before and I want to go to the South Pole. How do I make that happen? How long will it take? Well, that's different for every person. Basically running a boat is more mindset and experience and being able to fix things and jerry rig them out to sea than like the sailing part of it really. But, that does help having a lot of experience sailing. But you need a boat that's fit for that. And what makes it fit for that, and this is what I'm getting into, like the meat of this video is exactly this. What makes this boat fit for the Southern Ocean is that these cleats are ridiculously big. You can put huge lines on it. You can put webbing on it. They're utilitarian. There's 2 windlasses. There's 2 anchors set up on 2 bow rollers. Can you guys all see this? I just want to make sure you can see this. Yeah. There's Treadmaster on the deck so you don't slip even when it's wet. There's There's a place inside where you can steer the boat. I think this is a pilot house. I'm pretty sure this is a pilot house. So you come out here to tend the sails. There's obviously a steering wheel out here, but the main place that you're gonna be is inside the boat, in here where it's warm, because it's gonna be freezing. You're gonna be freezing out there, even in the summertime, which is in the southern hemisphere is in December. It's going to be cold, and you want a place that's warm. So either you're going to take a boat that doesn't have a pilot house and then make some kind of enclosure and so you can heat the outside, or you have a pilot house or a deck saloon version. This is kind of more of a deck saloon boat with an interior wheel. And yeah, that's what you need for like a trip like that. It's built for purpose. Now, what you wouldn't want to do is tell me, hey, James, I want to toot around the Chesapeake for 4 years, and then I want to go to the South Pole, because this boat's not going to be good for the Chesapeake. It's just not. It's got too much draft. It's on the wrong coast. It's, aluminum's not going to be as forgiving and easy to work with and easy to use and as a plastic boat would be. So really what you want is 2 boats. So if you're telling yourself, hey, oh my God, that's me. This is what I want. I want a coastal cruise and I want to go offshore. You might want to think about 2 boats. And if it's going to be like a 3-year plan, like, okay, I want a coastal cruise for 3 years, and then I want to go across the Atlantic, especially if you're going to go across the Atlantic from the United States to Europe, or from, let's say, St. Martin, Azores, Gibraltar. That's a lot harder of a run than going down south and doing it from Gibraltar to the Canaries to Capo Verde to the Caribbean. That's a lot easier run. You're with the wind. You're not up in 40 degrees where you're basically skirting and playing with these big low pressure systems that can knock you on your ass. It just requires really, safely and the best sailing characteristics, and a boat that's heavy enough and big enough and has deep enough draft to handle those situations is not the boat that's going to fare the best in the Bahamas or in the Chesapeake or something like that. Okay, let me go back to your questions now, and then we'll get back into boats, because I have a lot of boats to show you. There's a ton of other examples of this that I've actually used in my consultations that'll be really interesting for you guys. Does that answer your question, Centarosi Zero? I think, honestly, to answer your question and to have some finality to this, I think you should get a cheaper, like a Moody or a good Catalina would be great for in the next few years while you finish your degree and while you have some fun with the boat. Something that sails well. It's fiberglass. It's easy to clean. It's easy to maintain. You're not going to waste all your time trying to, polish wood on the boat, because you've got other things going on. A boat can be a full-time job if you buy the wrong boat. All right. Graham's here. What's up, dude? Thank you for moderating. Appreciate that. Let's see. I'm going to go down to you guys' questions now. KM Yachts. Yes, KM. Thank you. Yvonne Volbrecht. I think that's how you pronounce that. Yes, KM. That's who made the Pelagic. And dude, if you can get one of their boats, they're an amazing boat builder. Matter of fact, if you were going to build something out of aluminum, KM would be the spot. The Dutch, any of the Dutch really, build the best steel and aluminum boats, in my opinion. Rob's here. You have to learn how to sail a boat like a laser, then start racing 2-man cruise with a spinnaker, trapeze to get very good at understanding how to sail before you get the big boat. That is a good idea, and a lot of people are proponents for getting into sailing by sailing dinghies. I am a very big proponent too, just because they're less forgiving than a bigger boat. The bigger the boat you get, the more forgiving it is, and the less tender it is. Tender meaning, like, if you screw up, it will smack the mast on the water and tell you, like, hey, dumbass, you screwed up. In a dinghy, it'll flip over. So once you get that kind of balance thing right, then moving up is the logical way to go. But do you have to do that? No, I didn't start sailing dinghies. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have that story, but I didn't start sailing dinghies. My first boat was a 28-footer. And I don't think you have to. And I don't think you have to even get a smaller boat. You can just go right for the big boat as well. But you have to understand that you're going to have a steeper learning curve. A boat is like, imagine a boat. I found a really good analogy for boats. And it's not cars, because cars is a horrible analogy. Cars, they're so fucking engineered that they last for 100,000 miles. They have a warranty for almost that long. And it's just not a good analogy. What is a great analogy for boats is, oh great, I just lost my train of thought. Is that's funny. Oh shoot, what did you ask me? Oh, to go from sailboats, from small sailboats to big sailboats. Oh shit, I just ruined the whole video right there. Sorry guys. I'll think of it in a minute. Let's go on. Currently own a 1988 Ericsson 28-2 from Lake Pepin, Minnesota. Planning on cruising the Caribbean, Bahamas, and East Coast. I want to stick with the Ericsson 35-38's thoughts. Why do you want to stick with Ericsson? That's an old boat. I know you like it, but there's better designs now. I would say you should open that up a little bit more. The Ericsson are heavy. They're older designs. They're kind of tubby. They had their place, and there's definitely like a good entry point for the offshore cruiser style boats. Like you could take that Ericsson 28 probably around the world. But yeah, I don't know if you should just like limit yourself just to that one manufacturer. You should probably, what is your budget? I would have to know your budget to be able to recommend other manufacturers to you, but there's a lot of boats, man. There's a lot of boats in the world. Let's see. John Raveley says, hi, nice to see you live. This is the first time I watch you from Sweden. Wow, welcome. It must be really late there. What time is it there? Let's see. I'm still thinking about that analogy question. It'll come to me in a minute. Just give me a sec. Let's see. Firefly Man says, my plan is to take my Shannon 43. Awesome boat, bro. Really pretty boats. I love Shannons. I actually have one here to show you guys. Shannon 43 to Bermuda in a year and a half after adding solar, lithium, and water maker. Everything else is done. Rigging, sails, good engine, genset, through holes, chain plates, then med. Yeah, cool. So you're saying that you've done most of the refit already, and the sail plan is, what is going on back there? This thing is freaking going crazy. No more of that. There we go. You've already done the refit on the boat, and your plan is to leave in a year and a half. That's great. That's a great boat too. You want to see the one I picked up? I love Shannons. They're beautiful boats. If you're just coming in, welcome. We're talking about the number one question that I have to explain to people on my consultations, which is pick a boat for your purpose. We already talked about some the one extreme, which is going to the South Pole. I want to go to the Drake Passage, and I want to see Antarctica, and I want to ski down an Antarctic slope. Now we're going to talk about a couple of other things. So, oops. Oh, I'm so happy about Paradise Cay, man. That's so cool. That just happened today, this one. Let's see. Where is that? Shannon. Here's the Shannon. This is a Shannon 50. It's in La Paz, which is a great place to buy boats, because a lot of people, what they do is they buy a boat in the west coast of the United States. They get it all ready to go, and then they make it to La Paz, and they realize they don't like cruising. Or they just, don't want to go any farther, and it's really difficult to bring it back from there. To go from La Paz, which is right at the bottom of the peninsula of Mexico, all the way back up, you can't really stop anywhere except for Ensenada until you get to San Diego. So that's a pretty long, it's like a 1,100 mile trip. and against the wind. So there are delivery skippers down there that just do that. Like every week they bring boats back from there. That's what I would recommend if you're the owner of this boat. You should definitely pay a delivery skipper to bring this boat back up to the States for you. Again, Shannon, this has 2 bow rollers, 1 windlass. It's a pretty boat. It's got a wine glass stern. It's an older design. This is 1982, so even a 50-foot boat's going to feel a little older. Look, you can see the windlass is bronze, dude. That's rad. But the real shine of these boats is inside. If you've ever seen pictures or in real life of a Ted Hood, what is that boat? What is that called? A Little Harbor. These are a lot like Little Harbors, but a little cheaper. The Little Harbor, and these boats are kind of cult classics. The Shannon series was made famous by Beth Leonard and Evan Starzinger. They wrote the Cruiser's Handbook, I think it's called, and they did, I think, 2 circumnavigation. No, they did 1 circumnavigation on the Shannon, and then they got another boat. They had, I think, a 37 or 38. But look at this boat; it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And, this is the difference between an offshore style boat and an inshore style boat. So like the first guy, when he asked me, hey, I want to cruise around, I'm getting my degree, and in 3 years I want to go. You probably wouldn't be as happy on a boat like this because it's so confined. But out to sea, like all these doors and panels and these little walkways and stuff that make it feel confined, make it safe when you're out to sea. Like all of this, these little passages and something you can brace yourself on and have 3 points of brace. I mean, when you're getting tossed around everywhere, it is a pain in the butt. And this might not be a great feature for you if you're going to be doing weekend trips with your friends. You're not going to want them to come through your bedroom every time they need to go outside. But if you're going to go offshore, having your bed right next to the companionway, having the owner cabin right next to the companionway, this is called a Pullman, is beautiful. That's one of the best setups ever, because then you can go out and you can tend to the sails very, very quickly. And if anybody has any problems outside in the cockpit, they can just yell for you and they'll wake you up. Problem with this is if you have your companionway and your cockpit right next to your bed, you can hear everybody all the time. So, it's all, there's no perfect boat, man, but this is a great option for a boat. Like I said, this is a 50. This isn't the 43 that you have, but this is a nice boat, man. I love the wood. I really like Hans Christian's and Shannon's. I mean, look at this boat. 1982. The problem with this boat is it just turned 40. So if you do sell it, you have to think about the resale. If you do sell this boat, you're not going to be able to get financing for it. Nobody will finance the buyer for this. And you're not going to be able to, it's going to be hard to insure it for hull. And a lot of people, when they spend $200,000 on a boat, they want a boat they can insure the hull. I didn't say impossible. I do have a guy. His name is Rob, and he's really good. And if anybody can do it, it's him. I would trust to get you insurance for this thing. But Jesus, this boat is pretty. That'd be a good one. I bet you can get it a little cheaper too, because the guy left it in La Paz. Usually in Mexico, their boats sell a lot cheaper. So if you're looking for something for like a trade-off, so that boat you wouldn't want to buy and take it to Antarctica, but you could take that boat to Easter Island, and you could take that boat to Pitcairn, and you could take that boat to the Seychelles, and you could sail that bastard around the world, and you'd be super happy, and you get that kind of homey feel. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to answer a couple of your questions, and then we're going to compare 2 56-foot boats. One of them is the Sundeer 56 and one of them is the Blue Water 56. They're actually fairly similar and fairly different. So I'm going to show you the difference and kind of give you guys a overview. Oh, did I not? Oh, good. I did show you all that, right? Man, I'm bad about that. Okay, so did you guys see all that for sure. Eric is here. James, Merry Christmas. It is Christmas time, my friend. Sky Dub says, did you see the Tiana 55 under $100,000? Ooh, man, I hate to see what's wrong with that one. Let's go see that. Let's go check it out. Let's look for some boats. Let's spend some other people's money. Let me transition back, and then we'll go to my page, and we'll actually, I'm going to copy and paste this. Tiana 55 for under 100,000. That sounds crazy. What's wrong with it? Tiana 55 for, oh yeah, look at that, 99,000. Wow. Stage 4 is tough, seaworthy. It has new navigation electronics. Very motivated seller. Come with offers. Wow, I wonder if he'd sell it for like 50 grand. Has no teak decks except in the cockpit. Does that mean they were removed? I don't see anything that says what is wrong with this boat. But, wow. It's, you know, one thing that pops out to me is it's black. Who paints a boat black? But pirates paint their boat black. You could be a pirate. Looks like somebody ripped off the teak deck on this one. That's good. It needs it. I mean, an 83, that teak is done. I don't care about all these. This is not new electronics, though. Oh, these are. I see. They put some new BMG electronics on. That Simrad. That's why. It's pretty ugly inside. It looks like somebody redid the whole thing. I don't like it. You went too far from the quintessential boat for me. It looks more like an IKEA apartment to me. There's something about these boats, though. I know that like the 52 was a Bob Perry boat. It sails really well, and the 55 sails like a tub, or maybe the other way around. Who designed the Tiana 55? The sailboat data. Let's look at this. Tiana 55. I don't think that this was the... Yeah, Peter... Oh, he sounds Dutch. Yeah, well, I think if I remember correctly, and don't quote me on this because I don't have any real-world experience except for touring a few 52s and 55s. I've never actually sailed on them. I'm pretty sure that the 52 is a Robert Perry boat, and it's a beast. It rips. But the 55 had some inherent flaws and isn't as nice of a sailing boat. Now that said, it's still a 50,000-pound boat with the 36% of it in the keel. That's great. The sail area to displacement. This is another thing I wanted to get into on this call with you guys, is to teach you about this number, sail area to displacement. Can you all see this? Okay, good. So sail area to displacement is the ratio of all of your sails in square feet to the ballast of your boat, to how heavy your boat is. And then they spit out a number and they give you a number. And this one's 17, which is pretty good. The higher the number gets, it means that the mast is higher and you have more sails and you have bigger sails. And that means that the boat will generally go faster. It ain't too hard to think, if I just put up 1 million sails, if you ever see like one of those old war, like Master and Commander, 17th century, 18th century war movies where there's these boats that just have 800 sails up. That's why they did that, because the more sails you put up, the more sail area you have, the faster the boat will go. To a point, there is a theoretical hull speed, but basically that's kind of how it works. Point being here is there are a few different kinds of cruising boats and sailing boats and that you can choose from, hence why we're talking about this topic. So say you have like an RM 1250. Let's just look that up real quick, just because I think that's one. RM, oh no, I think a RM 1350 maybe? Sailboat? Yeah, here it is. RM 1350. These are super fast racer type boats, big long fin blade rudder. I think they've got two actually. Long fin keel. Cool boats, and they have a sail area displacement of 25.66. That means they're very light boats, they have a very tall mast, and they have very big sails. This can be a problem when you are a new sailor or an advanced sailor and you're out in blue waters. There's one of these in my marina Well, the marina I just left in Panama. So people, mainly Frenchmen, actually, I always see Frenchmen or Swiss people on these boats. They sail these boats around the world. The thing is, you have to be so freaking careful when you have that much power. It's like driving. It's like trying to tour in a Maserati or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or something like that. It's not. It's so much power that you can get in trouble really fast. So just be really careful when you look and see these numbers. 25 is freaking race boat territory, in my opinion. I would never ever want to buy a boat. Some people love it. I mean, the guy that I was talking to on this boat, he loved this boat. He rips. He's doing 12 knots everywhere on a monohull, which is super cool for him, and he can get out of the way of storms faster. And it's a cutter, so he can still heave to a little bit. It's not going to heave to as well as, you know, a Tiana 52 would, because it's so damn heavy. But what's the displacement? 20,000 pounds. Wow, on a 45-foot boat, light boat made of plywood. Anyway, my point being is you can get in trouble. I buddy boated with a guy that had a Beneteau. I can't spell Beneteau. Beneteau 50 celebrity version, or a celebration version. I think it was called celebration version. Celebration, yeah. And it had a bigger mast. And he ripped circles around my boat. It was way faster than mine because it's damn near 20,000 pounds lighter, and it's got his sail area to displacement was way higher than this. He had an extra meter on his mast, so like 3 more feet on his mast, because he had this celebration version. This is the base model version that we're looking at here. And dude, he could sail circles around me, but the problem is his boat, like structurally, like he sailed that boat so hard that the grid popped off and broke, and he had to take his entire settee apart and get in there and fiberglass his grid back together. I mean, his boat was flexing so much. This is what happens when you have something that if you buy something that is more race oriented or is pushing that limit, then you don't leave that margin of error. In my book, I have this thing called the 80% rule, and it's not mine actually. I stole that from John Kretschmer, but you know, the idea is that you always sail at 80%. You always reef, and you know the boat can go faster, but you purposefully don't take that extra 20% because that's your margin for error. And when you have a sail area displacement of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, that's fine. When you have a 25, there is no margin for error. You have to be a very, very good sailor to be able to handle a boat like that. And that's my point. Let me go back to your questions now. All right. No sound. There's no audio? What? Why? What's going on? I'm putting audio. Are you guys all getting no sound? I can hear him fine. Okay, good. I don't know why some of you aren't getting sound. That's weird. Try reloading your page. Because I see sound coming in, and I see everybody telling me that they can hear me. Thank God. Let's see. Any other questions? Bobby from Australia here. What's up, Bobby? I bought a Kelly Peterson 44 after watching all of your videos online. Thank you for the great information you post. That's a badass boat, dude. Let me tell you what I know about Kelly Petersons, because I just had this guy. Don't worry, this isn't going to happen to you, because he came down on top of a container. But I had a guy come into the marina, and he had split the Kelly Peterson right in front of the keel. So like, here's the keel, and here's where the keel attaches. They think that what happened is they came down on top of a container or a big log or something like that. But the force of that pulled the front of the boat up enough where it split open the hull of the boat, and it was like a big crack, just gushing water in. So what he did to save that boat was, and the guy was probably 75, maybe 70, and he routed every single pump he had, the forward shower pump, the aft shower pump, the macerator pump, the sink pump, the freshwater pump, every single pump on the whole boat, the bilge pump obviously, overboard. And he said he just barely saved the boat. He had to make an emergency stop, an emergency haul out, and I saw the boat being hauled out. I actually have video of this, but I need to load it before I do these live streams, and I don't have it loaded right now. I don't even know where it is, but it's amazing. It's just pissing water out. Thing is, this is the difference. That boat, had it been like a Catalina, that thing would have just ripped in. I mean, it would have been such a catastrophic hole in the boat that it would have sank for sure, in my opinion. I mean, I can't tell you that for sure. And I'm not trying to dog Catalina. I love Catalinas. I used to have a Catalina. I lived on a Catalina 27 for about a year and a half in Venice, California. I loved that boat. It was really easy to clean too. You just take the cushions out and spray the thing down with a hose. I mean, they're, for what they are, they're great. Let me just say one thing about Catalina. They glass in the grid. They're one of the few production companies that glass in their grids. I think that alone makes them tough and way better than a Bavaria or a Beneteau or something. But anyway, back to the Kelly Peterson. The Kelly Peterson, dude, that thing had like almost 2 inches of solid glass right there where the keel and the hull meet. I can't believe it ripped like that. It was an older one. It was a 75 or 73 or something, but pretty amazing to see that the forces of the ocean could rip a Kelly Peterson, basically rip it open like that. That's only the third boat that I've ever heard of being ripped like that. One was I think it was a Halcyon 50, and the way they built those boats is they had 2 molds, and then they built half the boat in each mold longitudinally, and then they put it together and glass it. So it's actually got like a seam going down from fore to aft, and a 2-tonner, same thing. And then my boat, I've heard the catamarans ripping in half a few different stories of that, but yeah, the guy saved the boat. And if you're ever in that situation, that's how you save that boat. So good job, man. Didn't mean to scare you with this Kelly Peterson story. It's just an interesting story. I'm sure yours won't do that. It's tough though. Those are great boats. What's funny enough, it was repaired and then sold to a buddy, and he's in Panama here with me. Good luck on that. Those things can go anywhere. All right. So can you guys all hear me? Let's see. How about, Johnny Lightning, how about the Pearson 365? Okay, this is what I know about Pearsons. I've been sailing on one Pearson. I don't think it was a 365. I think it was I don't know. They've been around a long time. So Pearsons, you should probably watch and ask Uma, because they've been on a Pearson forever. Like they've rebuilt that boat a bunch of times. Basically, Pearsons are great because they're basically the same hull as a Morgan. It's like this inch thick for a 36-foot boat, solid glass, tub. Like it'll just plow through anything. They're heavy boats. They're built to withstand pretty much anything. There's nothing special about a Pearson. Like they're not very strong. They're not very fast. They don't have a very even for that era, the hull shape wasn't anything to write home about or anything, but they're beasts, man. I know of a couple of Pearsons that did the Arc Rally and the Baja Haha, and they both got into some trouble, and a lot of the boats got damaged, and the Pearsons arrived there no problem. I would be willing to bet that the Pearson has a sail area of like 15. Let me just see. Which one did you ask me about? The 365? Let's check that out real quick. Pearson 365. Sailboat data, Pearson 365, first one. Look at that catch. Yeah, they're not anything to write home about. Like you're not going to win any races with this hull shape. But look at how much of this boat is underwater. I freaking love that. That alone. Like look at that 4-foot. It's nice and present. This is the 4-foot of a boat, right at the waterline down. And when I'm looking at a boat, I try to see. This view will tell you a lot. If you can see it out of the water, it's even better. But half this boat is underwater. There's a shitload of ballast to it. It's basically a full keel. I think it's encapsulated. It looks encapsulated to me. Big, huge skeg that it's very hard to bend or break, because these skegs, if they're thin, they can actually bend and then wedge the rudder, and then you can't use the rudder anyway, so you might as well have a fin rudder at that point. But at the same time, they're not the most comfortable boats in the world. You're going to have to sleep in a quarter berth or sleep in the salon or in the pilot berth, or mainly the people that own these boats are going to have their berth in the front, which, that works, dude. If you can, I would say if you can put down the table and make this into a big bed out here, and then you have the best of both worlds. Like, this is the forward part of the boat is your bed when you're in port, and then this is your bed when you're out to sea, and it's small enough to handle with one person. See, look at that. What did I say? 13.5. So that's super safe. Like, the chances of you broaching up with a sail area of 13.5 is a lot lower than having a huge tall mast. Displacement to lengths is 300. Freaking hell, dude. And the ballast is 41% of the boat. This is a badass boat. It's like a little mini tank. You're not going to win any races, but this thing's a tank, bro. So yeah, go do it. If that's what you can afford, plenty of people have circumnavigated on Pearsons. Okay, next. Hey, before I get through to this, you might notice that since January of last year, I have not done a single ad on my channel. And that was on purpose. I don't take any ads because I think it dilutes the brand, and I don't like watching ads when I watch a person that I like. I don't like hearing them promoting bullshit. It's obviously bullshit. Like, they're saying, hey, this freaking casino is great. Like, that's stupid. I would partner with people that I really believe in, like, manufacturers of companies that are making things better or something, but these people are not paying me for this. I don't know if you've ever seen this on any other sailing channels. It's called a Yugo. This is called a messenger bag. I can put my entire computer in this, and the cool part about these bags is they have a proprietary zipper on them. So that zipper is the same as a dry suit, as like a diving dry suit. You can literally zip this up and throw it in the water, and it'll float with all your computer and laptop and with your laptop and your memory cards and your external drives and stuff. I love this thing. I use it all the time. It's great. The ladies are always at the Annapolis Boat Show. They're super, super sweet. I love them. If you guys are watching, love you. Go and get one of these, man. If you're looking for a good dry bag that's not overly heavy, that's not one of those like shitty Amazon ones that's just a big tub that you have to get everything out of to be able to do anything with it. For a YouTuber on a boat, that thing is unbelievably cool. Go and buy one. Since we're on the subject of selling things, I'm not selling anything from these guys, but I just happen to have a tube of this because I'm taking it to my buddy as soon as we're done with this. This is called Dowsil 795. This is the stuff that you need on your boat to redo your windows. It's nasty stuff. It's a lot harder to use than 3M 5200 that you guys are used to. But if you're going to do your windows, I have 12 tubes of this because I'm going to redo all my windows because they're leaking. This is the stuff. Dowsil 795. Okay. Also, I don't get shit for that either. So this is not a this isn't a sales show. I just wanted to show you a couple of things that I use. Okay, let's go back to your comments now. What's up, everybody? What's up? Captain, how hard is coming back from Polynesia to the East Coast? You want to sail from French Polynesia to the East Coast of the United States? It's a huge pain, dude. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we did 35 days from Marquesas to Panama, which was not an easy trip. That was probably, I would say, at least 12 days of that was upwind, like hard upwind. And then you got to go from Panama all the way up to the coast. That's the easy part, really. I wouldn't be too worried about that. What you would do is you would go from Panama up to like, there's a Colombian island out there called San Andreas that you'd probably stop in San Andreas. And then you could go to Isla Mujeres, and then you could go around Cuba and go to basically Florida, like the Keys at that point. So that part of the trip would be the easy part. Getting it back against the wind would be the hard part. If you're a sailor and you're serious about that, I could go into a little more detail on that, on like exactly how to do it. Because what you would want to do is you'd want to go to like there's an equatorial counter current. And what you would want to do is go up into the latitude, depending on the time of year, where the equatorial countercurrent is, and then keep away from the ITCZ. So the ITCZ is like a moving thing. It's called the intertropical convergence zone. So you want to stay away from that and then get in the countercurrent, and then you could rip all the way. And hopefully you're going at a time of year where there is some semblance of trade winds where you could ride like the top of the trade winds. For us, that was, I think we were hanging out around 8 degrees, and it was well into the northern hurricane season. So we actually got caught in the feeder bands. Like, we could look up and see the feeder bands of this big hurricane that took out Acapulco. It was freaking awesome. I mean, in the real sense of that word, awesome. It was just humbling to see this storm as far as you could see in these big, like, it looked like a hurricane on television, but you were seeing it in real time. It was crazy. Anyway, if you would like more information on that, you can contact me directly. I'd be happy to kind of map it out for you and explain to you what we did. I think I did a video on that. Yeah. Okay. Ads are popping up in this live feed. Well, that's the thing. When I said I don't do ads, I don't do any paid ads where I'm the one saying, hey, go buy this thing, because I don't agree with that. Ads, as a YouTuber, you have to have ads. That's how I get paid. So the ads that come up before you watch a video and after you watch a video, and sometimes in mid video, those are ads, that are part of any advertising. When you're watching Netflix, they show ads unless you pay them. If you don't want to see those ads, pay for YouTube. You can use YouTube Premium. You don't have ads anymore. My point is, I don't do collaborations anymore, unless it's a really good product. Like this messenger bag from Hugo. Oh no. It looks like I might have just ruined everything. Hold on a second. Oh no. What happened? I think that might have stopped. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, it's back. Okay, cool. Sweet. So I am going to answer a few more of your questions, and then we're going to get back and we're going to try to answer one of you guys' first questions is, James, this is one of the most common things I get on the consultations I do. James, I want to go buy a boat. I don't have any experience. I really want to sail. I've been watching YouTube for years. I am in it to win it. I'm an A-type personality. I love fixing things. I know I can do this. I want to stay in the Caribbean for 1 year while I figure everything out and get comfortable offshore, and then I want to go sail around the world, or I want to sail from there to Europe, or I want to sail to French Polynesia or something. So this is like 4 different boats, okay? And we're going to talk about what makes that trip's boat. What makes that boat good for that specific trip? All right, how are we doing on time? We're about 45 minutes into it. Okay, cool. We've got plenty of time. I'm going to get into this. I just want to answer a couple more of your questions. Abel77 says, do you have a recommendation for boats that can withstand an orca attack? I don't know, man. These things are pretty strong. I heard they're like attacking steel boats and messing up their rudders. Jesus Christ. No, I don't know the bite pressure of a fucking orca, so I can't answer that question. Sorry. I'd say steel boat's probably the way to go. Catalina with a lead keel would be my preference over a Pearson. Yeah, maybe. I think Pearsons that's like apples and oranges. Pearsons have I think, encapsulated keel, and then Catalinas have a bolt-on keel. I will tell you that if you get up into the bigger boats and you can find a bolt-on keel with 2 rows of keel boats, Jesus Christ, I can't even talk. 2 rows of keel bolts, then that the motion that you get from the loading up of the keel laterally is dispersed out through all of the keel bolts. And Kyle Jackney, the owner of Blue Water Yachts, told me that there has never been a case of a boat with double keel bolts where the bolts failed. So there's been cases where it's ripped the entire bottom off the boat, like I think it's called Polaris Star 3, that oyster that bankrupted the whole company. That they went and got that boat from like 3,000 feet and the keel still had the bottom of the boat attached, like the bolts hadn't failed. And there's a couple other examples of that. But if you can find a boat that has a double row of keel bolts, yeah, I would think that would be a very good indicator of a boat that was built to a bit higher standard. That you're not going to find that on a small boat. Let's see. Anything else, guys? Let's go back. I'm going to go back now. Rob says, I'm almost ready to purchase a Mumby 48 and afford the lifestyle, hoping to hook up with you in my travels, and maybe I'll be able to have the balls to talk to you on video. Okay, cool, man. Mumby 48's a great boat. Those are cool. You should watch Sailing Jupiter for information on that. He's got one of those, and he's had some really interesting adventures with that. I think at one point the boat was just being held together by paint. It's pretty thin. You know, you're talking about thin. Let me show you guys, because this is back to the meat of the story. Let's see, transition. Here we go. Okay, so this is going right along the lines of that Mumby 48 that you're talking about, Rob. This is called a Meta Delu 40. Meta is a company in Europe that builds boats. I'm thinking, I can't remember if Meta's the company that designs them or Meta's the boatyard. I think it's the boatyard, but Meta is the boatyard. And what they do is they use this technique called strong-all to build their boats. And if you've ever seen Delos or Sailing into Freedom or Sailing Nahoa or any of these guys building aluminum boats, what's the couple that's been doing this forever that had a TV show? Distant Shores. When they build those boats, I think Distant Shores is actually building their boat in Holland. Anyway, when they build all those boats, they build them with frames. So you'll see the boat, it's like a big skeleton, and then they either roll the pieces or they just put big pieces on the outside and have chines. These straight pieces are called chines. The way that they build strong-all boats is they use thicker aluminum, and they build the shell of it first, and the shell has the strength. And then they put bulkheads and stuff inside, and they put some framing in it. But it's the backwards way to build with. And apparently these are supposed to be like the hottest ticket item right now for the strongest boats to go anywhere as far as sailboats go. Here's two different examples. This one is a 1998 Meta Delu 40 for $170,000. I guess $123,000, which isn't a lot, man. That's a great deal. That would be a really good one to look into if you're looking for a expedition style boat and don't want to pay Garcia prices. This would be a pretty dope one. It looks like it needs some refit. And then here's a newer one. Here's one that's 6 years old or 5 years old now, and it's $1 million. So, I mean, also chined aluminum boat. Now, I don't know for sure. I haven't looked into both of these boats to see if they were actually strong-all, like built with the strong-all, or just built at that Meta yard, or if all the boats built in Meta yard are strong-all. I'm just trying to introduce you to the different ways that boats are built and the different people that build them. If you're looking at a Mumby, you're looking at like 4 mil. These Meta boats, I think they're like 12 mil, so like 3 times the thickness of hull as that Mumby would be. Mumby, with catamarans, you have to keep it light. I mean, I've been on a Mumby. They're super light. When you see them in the slip, they're bouncing around and they're moving. You can tell a light boat when you see one. It looks fast. It looks like it wants to get up and run, you know? If a boat had a soul, that one would want to sprint. I'm not going to go too far into like this specific boat, but this is two examples of boats that are built with that strong-all technique. And then let's see. You know what? I'm not going to do the Sun Deer now. I'm going to go for a boat that you can realistically, there is no boat that you can buy and use in the Bahamas and use in the Chesapeake, and then it would be really great offshore on a North Atlantic crossing over to Europe. There's so much to talk about. Like what you want on a crossing to Europe is a big, strong boat with a deep keel, because a boat is like a pendulum, right? It's like a grandfather clock. The deeper that you get that keel, the higher that the boat will point, the less tender it's going to be, the more riding moment you'll have. When you get boats with the shoal keel that are good for the Chesapeake and that are good for the Bahamas, then you get a boat that's a little more tender, that like when the wind pushes on that sail area to displacement, it pushes it over a little more than it would if it had a little bit more ballast down lower. And that actually, the depth of the ballast is not taken into account in that in this number, the comfort ratio. Let me see. This number, the comfort ratio. That number was actually written on a napkin and just kind of like out of nowhere. I think it was Ted Brewer that wrote that one. I can't remember. If it's not, please let me know in the comments. But basically, he was like, "Well, this should work, and this should be about like a good mark for how comfortable a boat's going to be out to sea." But this ratio is kind of skewed towards like mid-40s boats. If you get a lot longer and a lot heavier, this comfort ratio number gets exponentially larger automatically from the way it's weighted. And then also, it doesn't take into account how deep the ballast is. So if you have like deep ballast on a bulb, like my Oyster has 7.5 feet of ballast way down low, it's very, very stiff, and it makes for a really good offshore sailing boat. It's not, these aren't like rules that you have to listen to me and say, oh, I have to get that. Like, people go across the Atlantic on anything, dude. I met a guy that was on a plywood 12-foot boat, and he made it from all the way across the Atlantic on the trip I'm telling you not to take a Catalina on that boat. He actually circumnavigated on that boat. It took him 66 days to get across, but he did it and he made it. And because of the dynamics of that boat, it's actually a pretty safe boat because it can roll over. It's got one little tiny sail on it. Anyway, that's a whole different story, but you get my point. Like, you can do whatever you want. I'm just trying to tell you, in my experience, what will arrive safely, will not be completely screwed up when you get there, because I've had that happen too. The reason I don't like lighter boats is because they flex too much, and then the windows start leaking and the hatches start leaking, and then you get water damage, and then a lot of the time those production companies don't really have a bilge, so then it fills up and it gets water everywhere, and it gets in the electronics, and then it starts to flood, short out everything, and it takes out the bow thruster, it takes out the stern thruster, and I've had this happen to me, guys. I've had exactly that happen. The boat flexed so much that the anchor locker bulkhead, the crash bulkhead, the laminated, let so much water in that it killed the bow thruster, killed the stern thruster, killed the entire starboard side electronics suite. It was I probably cost that guy 20 grand on that trip, just in electrical damage. And that doesn't include the fiberglass to the delaminated bulkhead. And that was a Bavaria, and that's why I don't like Bavarias. And I've done the same thing on a Beneteau. It was a far designed Beneteau with a 9-foot keel, and the loads on a 9-foot keel with one row of keel boats is so freaking crazy that the water was coming up through the keel. And this is the same thing that happened on the Cheeky Rafiki. The Cheeky Rafiki was, if you don't know the story, was a race boat that they may or may not have grounded it, but it was a far designed race boat with a really long keel, and they were taking it back across the Atlantic, Northern Atlantic crossing, and all 4 of them died because the keel ripped off the fucking bottom of the boat. And that same thing happened to me on that delivery. I'm going to do a video about this. I just need to get all of the facts straight on this one. But anyway, I just don't like it when you pair light-built composite boats with longer keels, with big masts, with big sail areas. You're just asking for trouble, dude. That's why when all these people are commenting on my videos and they're saying, "Oh, James is an old school and he likes these tubs that are like caves and they don't sail very well, and you're going to be blistering hot in the tropics on this turd." Yeah, but I sail offshore, so I'm trying to give you information on boats that will actually sail and actually make it and actually not be completely torn up when you get there. If you're going the other way, like I said before, that's not a big deal. Like anybody can raise the sails and cross the Pacific from Cape Verde to, like I said, Martinique. That's not hard. That's trade wind sailing at 12 degrees. It's beautiful. There's trade winds. They hardly ever go away. There's hardly ever big lows that come down. But when you're up in 40 degrees, it's a whole nother area. I mean, that's akin to being in New Zealand and trying to sail from New Zealand to Chile or something like that. That would be a 40 degrees kind of trip, and it's gnarly. Okay, back to your questions. Let's see. I got it. Oh, I don't think that I showed you this. Sorry. Okay, so it's been an hour now. What do you guys think? I'd like some questions. When you guys, I'm to the point of this where this is the question and answer period. If you guys have any questions, you want me to give you some advice, please write your questions out in full capitals, and I will get to your questions as soon as I see them, okay? Lagoon 380. This would be the opposite end of the scale from, I'm sorry, this was Michael Zaccaro. If you want to buy a lagoon, I don't like lagoons. I think lagoons are like the worst built sailboats in the world. They're production charter cats. They might as well they don't really sail well downwind. They don't really sail well upwind. A lot of them have a self-tacking jib. But as a platform, like I would rent a lagoon any day. Like that'd be my first choice, or a Leopard or a Fontaine Peugeot. But I think lagoons are probably the worst built of all of them. And I have experience to match that. Go look up the creaking on the Lagoon 50 that I was delivering. It was crazy. It was popping and creaking and moving. You could see the floor moving. None of the doors would shut. It was crazy. I would never want to go offshore on one of those things. And it's because they're built for purpose, people. Like there's plenty of people cruising around on lagoons and they love them. And they're a great platform. But they're not the best thing to sail around into Easter Island. You'd want to go like downwind with them and in the trade winds, like plus or minus 20 degrees, all the way. You could sail around the world. Well, not all the way around the world, but you can sail most of the way around the world like that. Okay, so it's not that the boat is bad. It's that the use of the boat is not listened to. The boat was built for a purpose. It's an entry-level catamaran, really, really big. So big, in fact, that they decided to put the rudder in front of the sail drive. So now you don't get any prop wash or walk when you're maneuvering the boat. It's like the only sailboat that's like that. They put the engine as far back as they could to make more room for people's shit inside the boat. That was a conscious decision because it's that boat is all about the volume, not about the sailing characteristics, and it should be treated as such. You just have to know what you're getting when you go into a deal like that. Great for tooting around and doing a milk run thing, and in the Pacific, great. You'll get to sail some of the time. What I find with lagoon owners is they're always on their second or third engine because they're basically motor sailing all the time, 100% of the time. And all of the people that I know that are running big lagoons, they're 100% motor sailing with one engine at all times when they're sailing because those boats don't really sail. Question. Eb Lemus says, what is it like to live with crones on a boat? Oh, I have UC. That's ulcerative. I don't even know that word. Colitis. And it gives me a lot of anxiety about sailing. Yeah, so I have Crohn's disease, if you guys didn't know that, which is, it's like ulcerative colitis. It's very similar. Basically, when I was a kid, I had like 90 ulcers all through my esophagus. I was on 21 different medications. I had to actually break medications open in yogurt so it would affect the esophagus. I've had more endoscopies than I care to remember, and colonoscopies. Wow, that's cool. Didn't think I'd be talking about that in the live stream. But I control it with diet. So I would suggest that you find an dude, it's been so long since I've been to a doctor about this. Endocrinologist, is that the word? God, I sound dumb. I suggest you find a doctor that specializes in that and that will help you with some actual, well, how can I say this nicely? With some Eastern medicine. I think that most of what you think is autoimmune is probably a reaction from something that you're eating or drinking. With me, it was alcohol. I used to love to drink and never gave it up, and it always gave me heartburn. I'd wake up aspirating, and I had a lot of problems. I didn't have a lot of flare-ups. My brother had a lot of flare-ups due to stress. But I think Crohn's and UC is like a mixture between what you eat. Stop eating shit. Americans eat shit food. If you're American, look up, how to cook yourself. And when you get onto a boat, don't eat all canned shit. You need to actually learn how to cook, get fresh veg, and get yourself healthy. All right, that's my 2 cents about that. When will you release the Sirius walkthrough that you filmed in Annapolis with Torsten, the owner of Sirius? I will. I've been sitting on that because I don't want to be the boat tour guide guy. I don't want my channel to be all boat tours. So I had like a bunch of boat tours. I have the Sirius 35, which that guy was so cool. I would love to buy a boat from him. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going back to commission another Blue Water 56 in Mallorca. And if I'm there, I'm going to Torsten. I'm going to go sail on one of those. And probably I'll wait until that happens. That way I can just put it into one video and just say, hey, look, this is what happened. I was so impressed with this boat that I went over there. I was over there anyway. I flew to Poland and they were nice enough to let me sail with them or whatever it is. I'm going to get on one of those boats. Cool boats. But I have a Pegasus 50 and a Sirius 35, and I think I have another one. But I have a lot of other information to give out, and I don't really think that I want to be categorized as like all I do is boat reviews and, what boat you can buy. And, there's better things to talk about. Like this video that I just gave to the editor, this is going to be a breakdown of the lessons learned from SV Escape, which is the tragedy that killed 2 people. And I was one of the last people to see Carl and Anne-Marie alive in Bermuda. Like they turned left and I turned right. They died 72 hours later. And I didn't know until I got to Gibraltar. And I was, it was like one of my friends dying. It affected me, and it's taken me a few years to make the video, but nobody's done a lesson learned on it. And I think that kind of stuff is more important than a walkthrough. Although I'm sure that Torsten doesn't think that. So I shouldn't say that, but I'm sure that he would like me to put out that video. So if you're watching, buddy, I will put that video out. I'm still sitting on it. It was a great tour. I just don't want to put out too many tours. I just did that tour with the MCP. All right. Tugi Ankril says, what boats have you seen sailing with families of 4 to 5 that you would recommend for true blue water sailing? You know what the first thing that comes to mind is a Outremer. I see families of 4 and 5 on Outremers all the time, and they're super happy. They have enough room. They have 2 hulls to separate the family. If you can afford that kind of boat and you like catamarans, that would be a great option. The other things are, family of, you said 5? Family of 5? 4 to 5, yeah. So let's just say 5. A family of 5, that's a lot of people. You need 3 cabins for that. Right? You'll divide one of them. You'll have 1, 2, and then you need 3, 4. You'll need, if you want everybody to have their own cabin, you need a 3 cabin boat. So that means you need like a 44 footer or above. And I don't know what your budget is, but I would think about it like that. Like, how many cabins do I need? What do I want to do with the boat? Unfortunately, there's no way to search right now. There is some things coming out next year. 2027 is going to be revolutionary for the sailing, searching. I think that Yacht World's going to end up going away. There's some really cool things happening, but you're going to get more AI influenced searching. So you can now search, hey, ChatGPT, I want a boat that has 3 cabins that's fit for a family of 5. I would think about it more like that rather than makes of boats. Like, say, what kind of layout would I want? Do I need 2 heads? Yeah, man, you need 2 heads if you're going to have a family of 5, because somebody's probably going to be in the bathroom at any hour of the day, or in the morning when you wake up. You're going to want your own bed, your own bathroom back in the back, and then the kids can fight over the forward bathroom. You probably don't want 3 bathrooms or 4 bathrooms, because as soon as you get into like that many bathrooms, it turns into a pain in the ass to try to keep them up and keep them running all the time. The Jib says, what would you advise for a solo sailor planning to live on a West Sail 32? Rip it up, bro. That sounds great. Awesome. I met a guy that did that. He was an Apache pilot in I don't know if he was in Desert Storm, but he was definitely in the Middle East, and he was a smart guy, cool dude, very messed up from his job, and he just smoked pot all day. That's what he did. He smoked pot. When we left, I think we left the Bahamas and ended up in Isla Mujeres, and it was like 2.5 days for us, and it was 8 days. Like a week later, he showed up, and I'm like, dude, what the hell happened? You thought you were dead. And he's like, I just don't care, dude. My boat's slow, and I just want to toot around. So my advice to you would be, read all that you can, learn all that you can, and just relax. Just like this guy had the right outlook for sailing. It's a slow boat. It's not going to win any speed records, but it's super strong. So enjoy that part of it, that you're going to be safe, that it can handle whatever you push at it, and that it's slow. Screw it. You're going to be doing 4 knots everywhere. So what? Boats are all, dude, the difference between 4 knots and 7 knots is such a small amount. It's like a run or a jog. What's the difference? Firefly Man says, for the trip from Montauk, New York to Bermuda, what are the key items as a passage plan? Okay, so a better person to talk about this would be Ryan. He's made that trip like, I think 17 times. Ryan from Sail Libra, and he'd definitely be able to talk to you about it. I've only made that trip 3 times. So basically, my understanding of it is, what you want to do is you want to go to 37 degrees and then just zip out. So I would probably go down to 37, because this is the thing, that if you watched my weather video where the Ferrell cell and the Hadley cell meet, if you don't understand, just go watch that video. There is a line there, and that used to be right at 40 degrees. And 40 degrees was like the line that sailors would use as that demarcation line, where I'm going to go up into the 40s, and I'm going to ride the really strong counter trades and until a big low comes, and then I'm going to dip back down and run away from it back down into where those headwinds are. And then I'm just going to kind of keep doing that until either a huge low comes and runs me over and I have to heave to, or I get to my destination, or I run out of wind and have to motor or something like that. So what you want to do is go to 37 and then go straight across. But like I said, I'm not the oracle on that exact trip. It's not a bad trip, but it's a serious trip. It's people lose their boats every year in that race. Let's see. Hello, talk about buying a boat in Grenada and sailing it to Florida on a 7-month trip, then selling it in Florida. About $50,000 budget. All right. If you were to buy a boat in Grenada, 1, Grenada gets hit by hurricanes now. 2, they don't have a very good infrastructure to refit boats. So if the boat needs a ton of work, Grenada's not the right place to do it. If the boat floats and it can actually get somewhere, Trinidad is probably a bit better for doing major work, but honestly, Trinidad's not that great either. I've been to both, and if I had to do it, I would go to Aruba or down to Cartagena. Cartagena would be the cheapest place. Aruba is going to be a lot more expensive, but both of those places have good boat yards with haul outs, with good mariners, with people that have been in the industry for years and years and years and know how owners like the boat work done, because anybody can say, yeah, I do fiberglass. I've repaired Chevy Corvettes for 20 years, but that's not a boat. It's not the same thing. You got to have the experience with boats. So I don't think that you're gonna, unless the boat's in really good shape, you're probably not gonna like make money. Almost nobody makes money with a boat purchase like that. But I think you can buy it cheaper. You know, you're going to find some boats that are $100,000 boats that are selling for $50,000 because you can buy it in Grenada and the person doesn't want to sail it all the way back. I will say that you're going to be on a really good sale if that's what your plan is to buy a boat down in that's pretty much the end of the Caribbean. So sailing it back is all downwind, man. It's going to be way easier than getting it there. So you're actually getting the better end of the deal for a cheaper buy-in. All right. So guys, I am in the San Blas Islands and my girls are waiting for me on the beach. They left the boat on purpose so I could do this. It is 18:45, 6:45 here, and I have dinner reservations with my favorite girls in the world in 15 minutes. So I actually have to go. It was really nice talking to you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys spending your Saturday with me. Much love. I didn't give out any books this time. Shoot. Next time I'm going to set a timer and I'm going to give some books out. Just if you just got here, let me just show you something really quick because this is huge news for the Zingaro team, which is basically me. This book is available on Paradise Cay Publications. If you look up Be the Captain book, you can look up Be the Captain book, the Captain book, and then you can scroll down to Paradise Cay Publications. Where is it? Where is it? Oh no, it changed again. It's because I put Bowie the Captain book. Be the Captain book, and you go down. It's right here, Paradise Cay Publications. If you're thinking about buying the book, don't buy it from me. Buy it from them. That would help me out a ton to give legitimacy and get it into some bookstores. And they handle West Marine and Defender and fisheries supply. I'm super excited. This is a big win for me, for any self-published author. Thank you guys so much. I hope I answered some of your questions and I hope you learned something tonight. Much love and see you next time. Okay. Every week, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time.